Hey everybody, Ben and Glenn here in the CB Gitty shop, and today we're going to show you how to add a tone/gain pot to your amplifier board. These are the tone pots and the amplifier boards that we sell on CB Gitty. Glenn does them all the time, and people ask, how do I add one to my amplifier? So today we're going to show you. So get ready, time to do a little soldering and have some fun. So you can see here what we have is one of our pre-wired Artec 2.5 watt amplifier boards, a 10K linear taper pot, and a length of hookup wire. Now you can use pretty much any wire you have handy. We sell some on the CB Gitty page, which is what this is. So these are the three things Glenn's going to be using to get this bad boy wired up.
First thing I'm going to do here is take off this little blue cube, which is the trim pot, off the amp board. I'm going to firmly grasp it with a pair of, in this case, wire cutters. Pull, and what you'll see remaining are three legs. There's three legs left from the trim pot. We're going to remove those so that we can solder some hookup wire into those places for the gain pot. So I'm going to hold the soldering iron to the spot on the opposite side of the leg and use my pliers to grasp the leg with a soldering iron tip on the other side, heat it up enough so I can remove that leg. The second leg may take a moment in order to get the solder to flow.
Now theoretically, Glenn, you could leave those legs in there and just wire, solder another wire onto it. We always remove them so that we can put the tip of our new wires through that same hole for a nice solid connection. Alright, so he's got the three old solder pegs out of there.
Just to make certain there's enough solder left over on those points, I'm just going to dab a little more in there. I'm going to choose to use, of the 3 points, this one here for the negative leg of the potentiometer or the gain pot, and this point here for the positive leg. You can use either this or this point for that positive leg.
And you can see here that, so the negative is the one just below the speaker plus mark, the little white speaker SP plus, and then the other one is out here diagonal to it.
In order to prep the gain pot, you can see here, just going to strip some ends of the insulation off of the hookup wire.
So you can see he has that pot mounted down with the shaft pointing downwards, displaying the back or the bottom of it. And that's how, when he says what wires go on what solder lug there, it's going to be from that point of view. You can see there are 3 solder lugs on the back of this pot.
Now if you're using a low wattage soldering iron, you may want to hold it to the surfaces you'd like to heat for quite a bit of time in order to get them hot enough to flow the solder. Thankfully here what we have is a high wattage soldering iron so that it will heat the surfaces very quickly. So you can see I've just bent some of that exposed wire, hooked it through the tab so it holds in place. I'm going to hold the soldering iron tip to the surfaces that I'd like to have soldered. There we go. After it's cooled for a moment, you can give it a tug just to make sure that your connections are solid. I'm going to replace in this clip.
A side note, having one of these little helping hands gizmos is a big help when soldering.
Absolutely. No doubt. So, again, using that point there.
The one just next to the SP plus mark on the board there.
You got it. I'm just going to hold the soldering iron tip to the back side of the board to let loose, to let that solder that's in that point flow. Once it's nice and warm, I'll get the wire through. Get my fingers out of the way to get you a better view.
Yeah. So there's the negative side of the what will be the gain circuit.
And again, one of these 2 points that you can see here, I'll hold the soldering iron tip to the back side of them. Once that point heats up, I want to hold onto the wire just long enough for that solder to re-firm. And that is the gain pot on the amp board.
That's pretty much it. Alright, so what just happened here, what Glenn just did was removed the small square trim pot from the amp circuit board and replaced it with a panel mount potentiometer that has the same value as that little blue one did, but that you can mount on the panel, the front panel of your amplifier, so that the gain can be adjusted while it's in use. So it was a pretty straightforward process, takes a little bit of soldering, a little bit of fine maneuvering, but overall not too bad, and it's a great way to add an extra degree of control to the sound you get out of your amplifier. So hopefully you enjoy it and you'll give it a try. And from CB Gitty, I'm Ben.
And I'm Glenn.
And that's all we got.